Sikubingelele sikwamukele indaba zehora lokuqala emini sibingelele nakuwe osibuka ohlelweni lothulusha lezokusakaza iDTT lezi ndaba nizethulelwa usakhiwo ngokosokhela nazo ezinohlonze emini nje.
We are still standing at one death, remaining with 8 positive cases.
Umnyango zokuhlonyeliswa kwezimilo wenza konke okusemandleni ukubhekana nokubheduka kwegciwane idiphtheria ejele lasePosmo eKapa ngemva kokushona kwesiboshwa esisodwa.
We then urged all the leaders that we do need to say something about the situation in Palestine.
Iphini likaMengameli wakuleli uPaul Mashatile uthi umhlaba akufanele uphela amandla ekwesekeni udaba lwasePalestina njengoba lakwa-Israyeli liqhubeka nokuhlasela kwalo. Umnyango zokuhlonyeliswa kwezimilo wenza konke okusemandleni ukubhekana nokubheduka kwegciwane idiphtheria ejele lasePosmo eKapa. Iziboshwa eziyisishiyagalombili kanye namaphoyisa amathathu kholakala ukuthi analo leli gciwane kanti kushone isiboshwa esisodwa.
Umnyango wezokuhlonyeliswa kwezimilo uthi wenza konke okusemandleni ukuqinisekisa ukuthi igciwane idiphtheria alisabalali. Lokhu kuza emva kokuthi kushone ibhungu ebeliyisiboshwa lineminyaka eyisishiyagalolunye ejele lasePosmo eKapa.
We are still standing at one death, remaining with 8 positive cases. And what is giving us courage is the fact that we have not had any new cases for over 5 days now.
Umnyango wezokuhlonyeliswa kwezimilo usebenzisana nomnyango wezempilo futhi ke sekusungulwe izinqubo ezahlukene ezifundwe kubhubhane lwe-COVID-19 ukunqanda ukusabalala okungasekwenzeke.
You'll recall that we had 54 remand detainees from Medium A, Section B, that were identified as direct contacts, and they were tested, and 46 of them were negative. We remain with that particular figure. 15 of our officials were also identified as direct contacts, and all of them were tested, with I think 3 which were who had symptoms, but they were all cleared. So, as a department, what is important at this stage is to ensure that we do whatever possible to contain this disease, not to spread to other sites.
Umbiko usihle Dlamini wezindaba ze-SABC.
Inkantolo ephakeme ePitoli igunyaze umshushisi ukuthi abuyise uSayitsheni uVusumuzi Mokhane ukuthi ezophendula eminye imibuzo ecaleni lokubulawa kaSenzo Meyiwa. Kanti ke umbuso uthi uSayitsheni Mokhane uzocacisa ngezindawo abahamba kuzo ngesikhathi belayishe umsola wesibili bongantanzi. Lokhu kuza nje ummeli kaNtanzi befuna kubizwe ungoti olandela imizila kudlule kuyo imoto ngelithi indawo amaphoyisa adlula kuyo kuzo ke uNtanzi lapho afike amshaya khona.
The primary principle here is it in the interest of justice to allow that evidence to be heard? Is that evidence which Mr. Ngomezulu says I shouldn't hear, is it relevant in this case? On both accounts, I find that it is, and consequently the state is allowed to lead that evidence.
Isigcawu sezomthetho esilalele udaba oluphathelene nejaji elimisiwe emsebenzini uNana Makhubele obekufanele siqhubeke namhlanje eRosebank eGoli azange sisaqala nokuholela ekutheni amalungu esigcawu iJudicial Conduct Tribunal ezwakalise ukungenami kwawo ngokubambezeleka okulokhu uqhubeka njalo kulolu daba. Ijaji Makhubele libhekene nezinsolo zamacala ahlobene nendlela yakhe yokuziphatha ngokuthi waqhubeka nokwengamela isikhundla njengosihlalo webhodi lePrasa nakuba wayeseqokwe njengejaji ngo-2018.
Thank you, Chair.
Umengameli wesigcawu iJudicial Conduct Tribunal uAhmad Yapi ukuveze obala namhlanje ukudumala kwakhe ngokungaqhubeki kwesigcawu obekufanele sihlalele udaba lwejaji Makhubele insuku ezinhlanu kuleli sonto.
Let me make it clear, I'm sympathetic to her position in which she finds herself today. But I can say no more, and I may say this, it is not the unanimous view of the tribunal that we should have considered an adjournment. So let's just get that quite clear. And that if anything further is going to happen, it will have to be a decision taken elsewhere, because it's the decision of this tribunal.
Loyo obefike ethunywe yijaji uMakhubele obengekho namhlanje esigcawini utshela amalungu esithangama ukuthi ijaji uMakhubele uzobe sekulungela ukufika esigcawini sokulalwa kodaba lwakhe ngasekuqaleni konyaka ozayo.
In essence, we wanted to come back and confirm with certainty regarding your question whether come on the date that will postpone the matter to, whether Judge Makhubele will be in a position to proceed with the matter. So she confirmed that yes, she will be in a position to proceed with the matter. So what we're doing, really, we're just checking with Mr. Malika SC to check his availability. If, say, everything is sorted out, those days will be suitable for him.
Isicao sokulalelwa kodaba lwejaji uMakhubele sesibekelwe umhla zingama-22 kuya kumhla zingama-26 kuMasingana wangonyaka ozayo.
Iphindingamengameli wakuleli uPaul Mashatile uthi umhlaba akufanele uphela amandla kwesekeni udaba lwasePalestina. Mashatile ubemelela kuleli engqungqutheleni eSaudi African eRiyadh uphinde wanxusa ukuthi iphele impi eGaza njengoba iqhubeka indlondlobala nje.
We then urged all the leaders that we do need to say something about the situation in Palestine, particularly in Gaza. And that's why you'll see in the declaration we have now added the issue that this summit is in support with cessation of hostilities, the ceasefire, but particularly the call to support the innocent people who are being killed in Gaza. So the summit has now agreed. So if you read the declaration that has been adopted, you'll see that has now been covered, which South Africa insisted a lot that should be the case. I was particularly impressed that almost many African heads of states who spoke actually expressed their support to the people of Palestine.
Iimeko zingaqhelekanga ngolusuku ngaselwandle Seapoint kudutyulwe iziqhushumbisi kwatshizwa nangamanzi ngamapolisa ngexa kududulwana. Iqela elininzi labaqhankqalazi abaxhasa amaPalestina bebeqalisa ukuqungana kuloo ndawo ngelithi kuza kuthandazwa. Thandazo ebekuthiwa uququzelelwa ngamaqela eenkonzo zamaKristu ngelixhasa amaSirayeli. Bebephethe amaxwebhu akwazi ukukhululwa kwabathinjwe liqela leHamas.
We came here to pray and to set the hostages free. That was our only thing. You know, the main thing is the safety of people. We would never, the buses that were supposed to travel from where they are, we've asked to keep back. We cannot let people come and endanger their safety.
We represent a group that is standing with Israel at this time. There are many Christian pastors that were going to be part of this. We got our legal permits. It was going to be a praise and a prayer event, praying for South Africa, praying for Israel.
Kodwa umthandazo udungadungwe ungekaqali. Iqela elixhasa abasePalestina lingquzulene namapolisa kwanamanye amagosa ocwangco. Abaxhasi bePalestina bathi akukho umuntu uza kuvunyelwa axhasa abakwaSirayeli kweli.
We will not allow this to happen in Cape Town. The Cape Town that we fought, South Africa that we fought back in the past 10 years. The same people as Zionists is standing in front of us here.
We are not going to allow them to raise that flag here. Our women, our children, our adults, we are all dying.
I'm angry as a doctor. They're bombing the hospitals. They're bombing the schools. They're bombing the bakeries. They're bombing the supermarkets.
Amapolisa athabamba amadoda amane ngezityholo zodusha esihlangalaleni esithi kunyanzeleke ukuba angenelele kuba abanye babaqhankqalazi balile ukuthobela imiyalelo yogcino ucwangco okanye yokuba bachithakale. Thandiswa Mawu wendaba ze-SABC eKapa.
Mbukeli sathi qhubetolo kanti masibuya sizokuphathela uWT. Lihlehliselwe umhla zingama-29 kwephezulu icala elibhekene nomfundisi uTimothy Omotoso kanye nasolwa nabo uLusanda Sulani noZukiswa Sitho. sikubingelele sikwamukela uma ngabe usanda kungena odabeni oluhambe phambili besibike ukuthi Umnyango ozokuhlonyiswa kwezimilo wenza konke okusemandleni ukubhekana nokubheduka kwegciwane diphtheria ejele lasePosmo eKapa ngemva kokushona kwesiboshwe esisodwa. Iboshwe ezisishiyagalombili kanye nonogada abathathu kukholakala ukuthi banalo leli gciwane kanti kushone isiboshwe esisodwa. Mbukela sikukhumbuza ukuthi lezi indaba zikhona ku YouTube na ku SABC Plus ngena kuzo uzicinge ngamagama athi SABC izindaba na kanjani uzozithola. Lihlehliselwe umhlazi ngama-29 kwephezulu icala elibhekene nomfundisi uTimothy Omotoso kanye nasolwa nabo uLusanda Sulani noZukiswa Sitho. Ukuhlehliswa kwecala kungenxa yesicelo sikammeli kaMmangalelwa uPeter Doberman sokuthi afake isicelo esispecial esibuza ukuthi kungani ijaji uImaskumani ke lithe abukho ubufakazi obukhombisa ukuthi umshushisi uadvocate uNceba Ntelo wayengumshushisi kuleli cala wenza itulo lokunxenxa ofakazi bafakazi baqambe amanga. Udoberman uthi ijaji uSkumani lasho ukuthi esinqumeni salo enyangeni edlule ngesikhathi lichitha isicelo sokuthi wonke amacala abekwe umangalelwa ahoxiswe ngenxa yokushayisana kofakazi. Udoberman ukholelwa ukuthi lokhu kubufakazi ukuthi uadvocate uNtelwa wanxenxa uJiyane ke kanye nabanye ofakazi abaningi ukuthi bafakaze baqamba amanga. Ngaphandle kwenkantolo uphiko lwabesifazane lweANC belikhona lizokweseka ofakazi. Labo ke bobathathu babhekene namacala amathathu afaka phakathi amacala amaningana okudlwengula na okuhlukumeza ngokucansi. Umengameli wophiko lwabesifazane lweANC uCCC Tolashe usetshele amalungu alolu phiko ukuthi kufanele agqugquzele izakhamuzi ukuba zivotele iqembu elibusayo ukuze linqobe ukhetho likazwelonke ngonyaka ozayo.
Njengoba iANC izilungiselela ukudla umhlanganiso okhethweni langonyaka ozayo, uphiko lwayo lwabesifazane luzibophezele ekusebenzeni ngokuzikhandla ukuqinisekisa ukuthi lokhu kuyenzeka.
Us as ANC Women's League, as volunteers kaWinnie Mandela, we are going to carry the ANC campaign that is going to make the point that the ANC win 2024 election.
Lolu phiko lusabhekene nezinye izinto njengoba lisanda kuxeka owengamele zomnotho kwaZulu-Natal uSiboniso Duma ngokubukela phansi undunankulu wesifundazwe uNomusa Dube Ncube.
ANC can't be spared in fighting of gender-based violence. So we need to be more vociferous as Women's League, which we are, and we are going to deal with everyone else who is embarking on that.
Utolosha uphawule nangokuhlakazwa kwalolu phiko esifundazweni kwaZulu-Natal. Uthi lolu daba lusezithebeni zenkantolo.
There's no crisis. We will listen from what court is saying. Other than that, as a responsible leadership given that mandate by the 13th National Women's League Conference, we are doing exactly that.
Lolu phiko luphinde lwaveza ukuthi liyazeseka izakhamuzi zasePalestine, ikakhulukazi izingane kanye nabantu besifazane.
Umholi we-EFF uJulius Malema unxuse inhlaka zeqembu ukuthi zizimisele ngokusiza izakhamuzi. Ekhuluma emhlanganweni ehholo lomphakathi eMahikeng eNorthwest, uMalema uxwayisa amalungu eqembu ngokuthi angagcini ngokulalela izikhalo zezakhamuzi ngesikhathi sokhetho kuphela.
Ihholo lomphakathi beligcwele phama njengoba i-EFF iqhubeka nomkhankaso wayo imayihlome. uMalema uthi ukuhlinzeka abantu ngesidingo kusayinkinga kulesifundazwe.
The masipala Tamon Northwest, the collapse kaufela. There is no better municipality. Others are worse because they can't even generate their own income. They've got no means of revenue. Where there was a complete collapse of the municipality, we went to do a rerun its award. So much potential.
uMalema uxwayisa amalungu eqembu ukuthi angagcina ukuhambela imizi yabantu ngesikhathi sokhetho kuphela.
A ground force must always be guided by revolutionary morality. So don't have your people because you're going to elections, and that after elections you don't care about your people.
I-EFF imele kwamawadi angama403 kulesifundazwe. Kanti inethemba lokuthi nganqoba kulesifundazwe. Umkhankaso olandelayo we-EFF uyesifundazweni iLimpopo.
I-Action eseMpumalanga ifuna ihhovisi lomvikelo omphakathi ukuba liphenye ngokubambezeleka kokuphothula okwakhiwa kwesibhedlela iMiddelburg. Ukwakhiwa kwesibhedlela okudle u1.2 billion amarandi kwaqala ngo2017 kanti kwakuhlela ukuba kuphele kulonyaka. Leli qembu manje lithi ukwakhiwa kwalesi sibhedlela kuzophothulwa ngo2025.
Uhlelo lwaqala ngo2017 kunembhede ngama350 ukulekelela isibhedlela eMiddelburg kodwa alizange luhlangabezane nosuku lwalibekiwe lwangalonyaka.
IParliament ikhipha statement lesithi lesibhedlela sesitawuphela ngo2025 and le mali lo 1.2 to 1.4 billion sekuyoba ngu1.8 billion. Manje kuyasihlupha ke thina si-Action SA nemphakathi.
Umnyango wemisebenzi yomphakathi esifundazweni uthi unethemba lokuthi lolu hlelo luzophothula ngonyaka ozayo.
Kube khona inkinga yokutholakala kwematerial ikakhulu steel lokunye lokwa contribute mhlambe ku delay kwale project ngilokuthi umphakathi bewuya ostopa le project kanye nalabo labatibita ngema business forum.
Izakhamuzi ngezikhathazekile ngokubambezeleka zikhala ngokuthi isibhedlela eMiddelburg sincane.
Lesi sinaso service yakhona iphuwa cabanga ukuthi mabangaqeda lesi maybe service yakhona ingaba better than lesi sinaso.
Bekufuza ukuthi kube lo nyaka lo sesiqalile siya operate angazi ukuthi inkinga ikuphi or inkinga isuke yaba kuphi.
I-Action SA nayo ikhathazekile ngokuthi isibhedlela sakhiwe kude nomphakathi. Kusenjalo umnyango wezempilo esifundazweni uqabile ukuphawula.
Umasipala wesifunda Dr Ruth Mumpati eFreiburg eNorthwest ugxekwe kakhulu ngokuvulwa kwe-call center ebiza igidi engama-39 zamarandi. Inkampani eyathola lo msebenzi kubikwa ukuthi yawuthola ngamalungu omndeni futhi kwakungamele iwuthole.
Ukuvakasha kwe-EFF akwamukelekanga. I-EFF igcine ikwazile ukungena. Isisebenzi besebenzisa amakhompyutha ayisithupha. EFF ithi kusaphazwe imali ngokuvula le call center.
As the EFF, we are saying there's no value for money in terms of the 38 million that was spent for the call center, because the call center we went through it to do our oversight. You can see the systems are down. It means this thing of saying the call center will work towards ensuring that people they call for when there are emergencies. It's a fallacy. It doesn't exist.
Ikhansela ANC kumasipala lithi laxwayisa ngale call center nyakenye.
You know that according to the supply chain management policy, you can't participate in any process that you are conflicted in. But in this situation, towards the appointment of this contractor, you'd realize that the chairperson of the evaluation committee and the chair of the adjudication committee are related in terms of bloodline.
Kusenjalo umasipala usivikele isinqumo wasithatha.
The service provider is appointed for 38 million for a period of 3 years. It means on an annual basis, we are budgeting plus minus 13 million for him to then execute these activities.
Umasipala uthi uyasiphenya isitsolo zokuthi le nkampani yanikezwa lo msebenzi ngoba kunamalungu omndeni asebenzela umasipala.
Abantu besifazana abasebenza embonini ezokuthutha esebenza ngezobuchwepheshe banxanxa iphathimandla zalemboni ukuthi benza imizamo yokuthi baphephe emsebenzini. Phakathi kwezingqinamba labashayeli besifazana ababhekana nazo ukubanjwa inkunzi, bethathelwa imali yabo, bathathelwa omakhala ekhukhwini, babuye bathole nokuhlukunyezwa ngokocansi amakhasimende abesilisa.
Ukuvela kwemboni ezokuthutha esebenza ngezobuchwepheshe eningizimu Afrika kuvule inqwaba yamathuba emsebenzi kanye namabhizinisi. Kodwa le mboni inezingqinamba eziningi, ikakhulukazi kubantu besifazane abakuyo. Siyakhula isibalo samacala avulwa besifazana abasebenza njengabashayeli lemboni. Lamacala afaka phakathi ukuhlukunyezwa amakhasimende esilisa, ukubanjwa inkunzi baphinde bathathelwe nomakhala ekhukhwini abasebenza ngabo nezimoto.
I lost my job last year. And then I decided to do this kind of job. We have groups whereby we always educate each other on how to look at the client, on how to read on a client's profile.
Omunye futhi uShwali Mofokeng uthi akazizwa ephephile ngaso sonke isikhathi kulomsebenzi awenzayo njengoba sekukuningi kakhulu akubonile emgwaqweni.
A lot is happening. Mamela, a lot. People lost their lives. people lost their cars. Like a lot is going on.
Okhulumela lemboni uthi kuningi impela okusamele kwenziwe ukuqinisekisa ukuphepha kwabo bonke abashayeli kodwa ikakhulukazi abesimame.
It's almost kind of normal. It's almost like the female drivers in the industry expect to receive funny comments, ill treatment from men who jump into their vehicle.
Indabeni ze SABC ngingusanelisiwe dlangamandla ebika eSekatlehong eGoli.
Bukeli sisibeka lapho ke indaba zehora lokuqala emini siyabuya futhi ngehora lesikhombisa sobe sagiya ngalo olgamagebe yakosokhelela inkosazana uManzuza umshazi kaNoyishada kaMaqhoboza kuze kubonke kuzayo sale kahle.